COVID has accelerated the inevitable. A lot of industry analysis say somewhere between 5 to 10 years has been accelerated of online digital retailing adoption, service appointments, pretty much every touch point in the car business. The beauty is the car dealers own the infrastructure, so they can leverage whatever's going to happen. And this is what a lot of tech companies forget. So
Hmm.
I like to talk about food and drink because I do enjoy a glass of wine, maybe a martini and a nice steak.
You and me
Uh,
both.
but you think about the the restaurant, the person who owns a restaurant. If the trends kind of shift away from steak and go to tofu or Beyond Burger, the restaurateur, all they have to do is change the menu.
Exactly.
Right? They own the restaurant, they own the real estate, they've got the kitchen. So as long as they benefit, and I wrote an article that was just published by Ward's Automotive, and it was basically about Burger King and the Impossible Burger. And what some may not realize is that Burger King was one of the few initially that said, hey, let's give this plant-based burger a try. But the backstory is what's really interesting. That the traditional board members of Burger
Yep.
King were like, wait a minute, we sell hamburgers, we sell cow, And anyway, the good news is the people went over and said, wait a minute, if there's anybody who can sell plant-based burgers the cheapest, we already have the infrastructure. All we got to do is open the box
Exactly.
and put those bad boys on the grill. Well, Impossible Burgers become somewhere between 30 to 35% of Burger King's growth in sales. And Burger King is now producing year over year growth that is, no pun intended, has previously been impossible in their industry. So similarly, the car business. We have EVs, where people are saying, oh, dealers are going to be redundant because there's no maintenance, there's no oil changes, there's brake changes like once every 100,000 miles,
Hmm.
and people aren't going to need to go to the service department. Well, and there's certainly truth to that. But then they say, oh, and then autonomous cars. Uh, People won't really need to own cars because they can just, like we used to do with horses, whistle. And the car comes, but it's a digital whistle through our phone. So guess who's in the best position for all of this? And that's the dealer who already has the infrastructure.
Yes.
So, today, mobility dealers can get into the mobility world by starting to prepare their fleets. Dealers liquidate aged inventory today. Dealers, now COVID, of course, has created a bit of an inventory shortage, but
That's
we know
true.
that all that will end up right-siding itself. But there's always going to be aged inventory. Well,
Hmm.
imagine today putting it on a mobility platform that people can request a car on demand through their smartphone and either have it delivered to them or pick it up at the dealership and rent it for 3 days to 3 months. Subscription, maybe 3 months to a year. All of these things, instead of wholesaling cars at a loss, instead of taking those write-downs, now your aged inventory is a revenue stream. So I'm senior vice president today of Hire Car, and that's what we help dealers do. Take
Hmm.
their inventory they would otherwise liquidate, and let's learn about mobility because you're going to be the leader. And the dealer, again, I like to say they're not going to be a player in the mobility space of EV and autonomous. They own the stadium.